Welcome back, whippersnappers. This is Gramps. We are in Shapes 2. This is my series going over the very basics of Shapes 2. The 1.0 version of this game is going to be coming out in the end of April. And before we get there, I just wanted to kind of touch on a lot of the basics of this game. Talk about, what it is and what it's like. Now, that said, the 1.0 version is going to look a little different. They've updated a lot of the graphics. Although I think the graphics look great here, but they've done some upgrades to the graphics. They've changed some of the basics, but not really. The basics are all still pretty much the same. There's also an entirely new game mode. So when that version 1.0 drops, I'm going to be doing a whole new playthrough and going through it step by step, showing you how I beat all these puzzles. Then we're also going to do an entire playthrough of the new game mode and check that out and see what that's like. So maybe we'll do that first. We'll have to see. So if you want to see that, please subscribe, please like. Get this video out in front of people so everyone can see what it's like. So I did a couple of tasks beyond last time. You can see we've got some research points now. We've got 22 research points, and we have completed our first milestone. We're on milestone 2. One of the things I wanted to show you too is you see how there's these little islands out here of this shape, and this shape, and this shape, and the shape of these colors, and the shape of these colors. So those are what we have in this particular random starting seed. There are, unlimited starting seeds. So you most likely your screen will look different than mine. And as you zoom out, again, you see more things. And you see some complete shapes of circles. This is what I call the star shape. So there's a full star there. Somewhere around here, there's got to be a square, right? There's a square, but it's checkerboard. Here's a plain square shape right here. Then there's also this little corner shape here, which I call the windmill, which goes back to Shapes 1. And that was sort of a shape that it was using. And in fact, it uses that in its code, in its shape code. So those ones seem to be the hardest ones to find. Right here's one. Boom. There you go. Now, one of the things that we do have in Shapes is, first of all, we can hit H to come back to the home screen, and we can zoom out. So I can come up here to the shape filter, and I could say, we want to do windmill, 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 windmill. And see, these are all highlighted. This one is highlighted. Yeah, you can see that it's pretty rare. Rarer than some of the others. Anyway, that's later. That's not something we need to worry about right now, because right now we're going to go ahead and accept this milestone, which gives us blueprints. Yay. Blueprints are very cool. They allow us to copy and paste. You can also flip things around, which is what you're seeing here. So let's do that. And we also get a couple new tasks. So our next milestone after this is going to unlock space platforms. So that means once we unlock that, we're going to be able to come out and use these other shapes out here in the rest of the universe. Okay. But let's go ahead and build this shape. So this is what I call the football. All right, where you've got 2 squares and 2 circles. The easiest way to do that, though, is to spend some of our research points. And we're going to buy the swapper, which is 12 points. We're also going to buy the cutter, because that is an important one to have. And then I'm also going to buy the 90-degree counterclockwise rotator. And that is going to use up all of our research points. All right. And let's see. Yeah, nothing else showing here. Before we get into building this, though, I did want to show on one of these next two tasks. Step 3. So you can see all it is a square shape, but it's got 3 layers. And then the one after that has 4 layers. Well, how do you do that? Our stacker only works for 2 layers. Well, it's pretty easy, to be honest. Let's do this. So we're going to get that one going. I'm just going to put extractors on all of these squares. And then bring this up here. And then bring this up here. And what I want to do is get 6 of those going. Alright, so that is going to get our first shape rocking along. Okay, so that again is just a double stacked shape. Now let's do this right. You know what? No, let's do this right here. That's 6. Then we're going to run that in. So I'm going to make this the top layer. Then I'm going to go ahead and take, let's go and take this one and run it in. Okay. So now you can see what's going to come out of there is a triple layer. We're taking a double layer and stacking it on top of a single layer. Right? 2 plus 1 equals 3. Quick and easy. So let's get started on this guy. This guy is a little different. And what I'm going to do is get a full belt of circles coming out. And let's just run it up here. And over here, let's get a full belt of squares coming out. Yep. Do it this way. All right. Then I want to get the swapper, which is here. Now, again, looking at this, it swaps the west half of the shape. So 1 out of 4, we need 4 for a full belt. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, I'm going to do that down here instead. Okay. So what I'm going to do is have this run in there. Oh, all right. All right. A little different. All right. I'm going to bring this up here and then have these run down here like this. Why did that not? Oh, I see. There we go. So that is creating the first half of what we want. All right. Then what we need to do is we're going to do another rotation. So again, let's look at the swapper. Sorry, basics here, right? It swaps the west halves of 2 shapes. So what we want to do with this is we're going to, so that's the west half over here. And this sometimes takes me some time to figure out. But let's try that. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. What if we do this one way and this one way? Wait, Yep, counterclockwise and clockwise. That's clockwise. Yeah, counterclockwise. Does that do it? No. That doesn't do it. That just puts it back to what it was. Again, back to what it was. Alright, so that... Sorry. We're going to take a break. This one is all finished. So what we want to do now... we can put a block on that. We're going to run 6 of these in here. And have that going, right? So we're going to do this. And run it into the top. So that makes another stacked layer. So now we're stacking, doing a double stack on top of a double stack. So that makes the quadruple stack. So it's super easy to get that done, right? All right. Let's get this one going. All right. Let's do that. No, let's do that. Almost there. Yep, that gets us one of them here. And again, I just want to figure this out on one of them. But this is not feeling correct. Like I should have this, it should be kicking the correct shape out on both of them. So yeah, see the west half, this square comes over here and matches up with the circle. So I want to take those, and it basically has created this shape up here. So if we take this, and that's a complete shape, right? And we want this one going up top. And splitting. And if we can split it into the same thing that we've got up here, over here, then that should be good, right? Alright, I think it is. I think I'm being dumb. That is not it. Let's try a triple turn. Come on. Well, that makes a shape. That's probably one of the ones in... That's in another task. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it's this one right here. We've got the little green check mark of approval. That's not what we want. Alright. Notoriously, I am bad at figuring these out. So that's why I have to keep doing it. There we go! Yay! We have them both doing a counterclockwise turn. And we get that. Now we can take... This is the one that has the correct turn. And we can do that. Alright, so all that comes down to this. Now we can do copy, paste, paste, paste. See? And I think we get double output. Oops. So let's run this into there. and this into there. And that should be 2 complete belts. But so you can see the copy paste, how easy that is. That's why I just work on one of them. Once I get that one done, then it just copies, and it's just super easy to duplicate it. So we have this one coming down here and this one coming down here. You can see they're both full belts. So excellent. Another thing I want to show you is belts in general. So here's a belt going this way, right? Now if I take a belt and drag it this way and touch it, it's going to merge, right? So these two merge together. But if I take it and drag it over here, it creates a jump. So we can jump over belts, all right? If we want to send materials one way without, interfering with what we already have built. So that's kind of a helpful trick. All right, this guy down here is rocking along. You can see again, full belt. That is cruising. So what I want to do is fast forward and get to the end of this, get this one turned in, okay? All right, so this has completed. So let's go ahead and unlock that. Now we have 6 research points. What I'm gonna do is take those research points. I can just delete that because we don't need it anymore. I'm going to come over here to upgrades. And I'm going to increase our belt speed, our cutting speed, and our upgrade speed. So you remember we were at 60 per minute, but look at this. Now it's moving at 90 per minute. And because we've kept everything at ratio, and because we upgraded all those together as a block, everything is working together. Working great. Okay? So that one is done. Next, we've got this guy in our milestone, which is this shape on top of a square. So let's do that. Let's grab a square here. And yeah, let's cut in there. And we'll do a little 6 guys there. Now this is our first time too where it matters if something is on the top or the bottom, right? Because we have the football shape sitting on top of the square. So we want to make sure that the square feeds into the bottom of the stacker and that the football feeds into the top of the stacker. So we're going to do the same thing down here with this guy. Right here we can do this. And again, we can just do that. And go up. So that feeds into the top. Then over here, we're going to bring it down. Oops. All right. Yeah, I'm going to bring it. Oops. All right, I'm going to bring it down this way. And then there. So see, it jumps over this belt without interfering with it, and then it's going to come into the bottom here. So we'll have double of the production of these guys. Now in the meantime, we want to get this guy going here. This little, I call this an hourglass shape. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 circles or 2 squares. And this was one of the ones we did in one of the tasks that I didn't show you. But that's okay because we're doing it now. So we're going to grab this guy and bring it over here. And I'm going to use a new tool. I'm going to use the cutter tool. The cutter tool, it separates the west and east half of any shape, as opposed to destroying half. All right, so and you can see here we need 4 of them for a full belt. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do that. Then what we're going to do is give them both a rotate. And let's see, what's the easy way to do this? We could do that, and then we could do a half destroyer on each. And then do this. Oh, boink. All right, so I'm going to do that, okay? And then those two, if I feed them into a stacker, that makes the shape. So again, I'm going to copy, paste, 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 and toss it on in. Now, if we look at the milestone shape, we can see that the next thing we're going to do after this is we're going to take this hourglass shape and put it on top of this shape. Right? And when you stack things on top, they get smaller. That's why that one looks so small compared to this hourglass here. That said, we've got 2 of these cranking out. So it'd be nice if we doubled this up, right? Let's do it. Let's see, was it F? Yeah, so F does a flip. And we're going to do that. Bring this in to there. So now we have doubled up our production there. Then what I like to do is plan ahead a little bit. So what I will do is grab another stacker. And we'll just do a stack of stackers. Actually, we're going to do it here. And then we'll do it here. Uh-huh. Nope. I will do it here. Boink. Okay. These guys are going to go in up top. And these are done now. So look at this. I can cut all that. And I can say this one. Let's do a jump. And look at that. That is the shape that we want. So this is not a full belt coming off of these, and that is because I didn't pull them out. So we have this going into this, which should be going into a double, into this. It gets all messed up. It's perfectly okay. This one I'm going to have run into here. So these bottom pieces are coming down into this stacker here. These bottom pieces are coming in here. Now what I could do, actually, is this. Let's just run those on in, right? In the meantime, to double up this production, especially since it's not at full belt. There we go. One of the things you can come up here is you can come up to statistics and hit that, and that's going to tell you how many are coming in per minute. So you can see the speed differential here. So now we're coming in at an average of 138 a minute, 140 a minute. It's just going up. That it's 5 seconds. There we go. That's more accurate, probably. 72 per minute. That seems more likely. I'm using Q and E to go up and down between the layers. And because these top ones are full, we're not going to get... those aren't going any more down here. What we could do... I'm going to do this. Never mind. It's in. Okay. Alright. So, I'm now cutting this one off. Because we don't need that. We also don't need that. So now I'm going to do this. And this. And there we go. We are set. We have our two... these guys are both cruising in. And that's it. So that's going to get us to the next milestone, which is space platforms. Okay. So you can see how we do that. Again, looking ahead, usually on milestones, the shapes are all going to be sort of related, at least, right? Tasks, same thing. You can see we start off with this. I call this a teardrop shape. Okay, so we get the teardrop, then we have a circle on top of it, then we've got a double circle, and then triple circle. So again, super easy here. It just keeps growing. And that's another one where you can look out, you can zoom out, and it's pretty easy to find that teardrop shape out in the world using the shape filter. So circle, 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 rectangle. Right here. Teardrop, teardrop. Here's one that's pretty close. And we can just grab that once we have our space platforms, which will be next episode. Okay? So come on back and I'm going to show you how we use space platforms. And that gets us, once we're done with that milestone, we have our operator permit done. Okay? You can see here the operator badge. Now, I already have mine, but that's where you'll get yours. Okay? And then we get into real game milestones. So if you're enjoying this, again, a like and a subscribe and a comment, always helpful. Thank you so much for watching. This is Gramps, signing off.